Life.
Yep.
Alright, so everybody welcome. My name is Diarmuid. You guys probably know me from the United Stand. At the United Stand we have two very good presenters, both Mark and Anna. Any usual viewers of the show know all about them, but I'm just using the show as a chance to practice and to give fans a chance to speak. So obviously we're going to be talking about Manchester United transfers as the title would suggest. I missed the match personally myself last night, but the three lads got to watch it, so I'm going to start by talking to Noel. Look, hi mate, how you
Hello.
doing? If you want to give
Great. Nice to be here.
yourself a quick introduction.
I'm Noel. I'm from New Jersey in the United States. Follow me on Twitter.
So
Just
anyway,
know me.
you were probably the only one of us who got to watch the match at a proper conscious state. So what you make of the team?
Uh, Team looked all right. There are bits and pieces where they're a bit off. Carrick looked pretty dreadful in the first half. Two, two bad giveaways. Almost let the two Club America goals. I really liked Andreas Pereira the second half. Very flary, exciting player from the academy, of course.
All right, so Daniel, I'll ask you the same thing. Shit, sorry, one sec. All right, sorry, that's first time. All right, so Daniel, what you make of the match last night?
Um, uh, I was, there you go. Yeah, it was. I only got the little bit of it, but we looked alright. To be fair, but it is the first game of the pre-match. But yeah, it can't wasn't that bad.
Did anyone
Can't really
stand out in particular
complain.
for you?
Win's a win.
Did anybody stand out in particular?
Um, from what I watched of it, Schneider looked quite good considering it was his first game. Depay is alright. Obviously, he's just getting used to the. Everybody's getting started, but hopefully they'll pick up during the tour.
So we got started with the transfers. So I'll start with you, Harry.
Yeah,
All right. So obviously now with the signings of Bastian Schweinsteiger and Morgan Schneiderlin, what do you think Manchester United's best midfield three is?
well, it's a tough one because obviously you got an excellent four in Schweinsteiger, Carrick, Herrera, and then you also got Daily Blind, and then if you want some strength to the midfield, you got Fellaini in there, and you got players like Mata, Pereira, and stuff like that. Rooney can drop deep, but the best one sort of overall for the entire season, I think, is you have Carrick in a deeper role with Schneiderlin just in front of him to the left or the right of him, and then you got Herrera in a pushed up position because in the game early this morning, seems a while ago now, but uh, Darmian and Shaw would bomb up the wings when Johnston had the ball in the first half. And then that meant that the two centre backs drifted wide, and Schneider and Carrick just dropped into the fence there, and it worked really well. And then in the second half, Herrera was dropping deep, but I think if you push him forward, he can excel again like he did once he got a regular run in the team after January in most of 2015, really, in the FA Cup, and then he got his place in the Premier League side. So obviously Schweinsteiger's there. He's what like there's not many players you call world class, but I'd put him in that category. Obviously Schweinsteiger's in that category, but I just think the balance, as Van Gaal often refers to, needs to be there. And with Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin, I think maybe against teams like City, that might work when you got a really dynamic midfield against them. But aside from that, I think you got to go Schweinsteiger Carrick or Schneiderlin Carrick.
All right. So thanks, Harry. Noel, what midfield three would you choose?
Uh, I'd love to see Mata in the 10 again. Just so just so creative there, and that is his natural position. I don't like seeing him on the wing. It's more suited for like Di Maria, my opinion. And then I take Schweinsteiger and Herrera behind Juan Mata.
All right. So Daniel, one
Um,
sec,
just
one
on
sec.
what Harry was saying.
Yeah, talk away there. 1 sec.
Just what Harry was saying, I think we do need to play defensive midfielder, but I believe that maybe Blind would be better. Be a better midfielder.
So you'd say Blind would get into your midfield then?
Well, not better midfield, but I think instead of Carrick,
Yeah.
because Blind would be, it's got probably more agile than Carrick. Carrick's in his 30s now. Blind's more agile, and obviously when you were saying about Shaw and Darmain bombing forward, Blind can come back into that position and fill in, just as good as Carrick would. But obviously he's got a bit more agility, and obviously can play the ball better. I think.
Alright,
And
so
then
I'll go
I'd
back.
play Herrera up further, obviously.
Yeah. Alright, so Harry, I'll go back to you. What you make of Damien, and is he better than Valencia and Rafael?
This morning, yeah, much better. Defensively, we didn't get challenged much in the first half because Schneiderlin kept the defence quite well protected. But I think if he was playing in the second half, you would have noticed it much more. Defensively, the tracking back is much quicker than I first thought when I watched him in the World Cup with Italy. And positionally, compared to Rafael, Blind, Smalling, Jones, anyone you can play there, even Valencia, you notice that he's properly trained to be a defensive right back, not like Valencia, who's a winger. Against Arsenal, he had a fantastic game in the FA Cup, but one mistake positionally, and you notice that he's not a right back, he's a winger. Diarmuid against him any day of the week. Against Rafael, even attacking wise, Rafael's brilliant, but defensively, you often see him putting in these late challenges, and people love it because it's like passion or something, and he's really going for it. But I think that just shows why he needs to make those late challenges, because positionally he forgets where to go.
Alright, perfect. And Noel, who would you keep as a backup? Was it Valencia or Rafael?
Rafael's just too injury prone. I'm not sure if he'll ever get a run of games under Van Gaal. Valencia did well enough. Had times where he shined brightly, like Harry said in the FA Cup against Arsenal, even though he had that mistake. But I'd take Valencia as the backup.
Alright, so I'll go on to you, Daniel. Just to go back to the midfield, what do you think of Bastian Schweinsteiger? Is he too old now to adapt to the Premier League, or will he be success?
I don't think he's too old to adapt. He's class. He's well classed, as Harry said. He's going to be able to adapt to any. Even if you put him in any league, he'll be able to adapt to it. I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to note that he is only 30 years of age, isn't he? And we look at Pirlo playing Serie A last year to 36, 37, and even Michael Carrick is, 33, 34 now?
Yeah. The only problem I would say is that he's been quite injury prone for the past few seasons, so that'll be a problem. But obviously, if that does happen again, we have Schneiderlin to back him up. So it might not be as much of a problem.
Yeah, definitely what I would like to see is a lot of rotation between Carrick and Schweinsteiger, and see Schneiderlin and Herrera playing regularly, and have the two older players come in and out. What would you think about that?
I think it's good to have rotation, obviously, to keep everybody happy, and I think it keeps the squad fresh as well. But obviously, the only problem would be is that if you're going to stick to one team, people are going to connect, and obviously change up every so often is going to lose that sort of rapport. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think it'll work well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important to change the team. I think we saw that against Chelsea last season, how Jose figured out the whole Fellaini thing, and they completely stifled our attacking play. But anyway, on to the attacking players. Harry, I'll go on to you about Ashley Young and Memphis Depay. Obviously, many would argue that Ashley Young was the best player last season. So now Memphis Depay is the big new attacking signing. So are you happy with Ashley Young playing on the bench, or does Memphis have to wait a while?
Yeah, Young was fantastic last season. He started in the pre-season tour of the US last season. He did a really good job, and then he sort of left the team for a bit, and then he earned his place in it by performing consistently really well. And I think that he will get his chance again this season. Van Gaal's not the kind of manager that we've seen so far at United, either Bayern, and I was an older fan at Ajax, but I've been told that like he trusts his players who trust him, and I think Young will get his chance again. Depay, though, that flair was there this morning. It was sort of that flair that Di Maria was supposed to bring to the club, and he did that with like the chip against Leicester. That was the kind of thing that we paid 60 million for, and we paid 25 million for Depay. And this flair, it's like watching. I'm not going to say Ronaldo because although they're compared, they're not that similar players, but it's like having Ronaldo on the ball where you think something's going to happen here. And it was like a delicious chipped pass, one touch to Rooney this morning, and it's just so good to watch that. I think Depay, uh, Van Gaal might start building this team around Depay, and I think Young can come in. He's experienced. He knows this squad better than most players, and he can do a good job on the wing. But that might have to be on the right wing. He's got a killer cross on both sides, so I don't think he'll mind.
I suppose one great thing about having Memphis Depay is that he has a really good free kicks, maybe something we haven't had since Ronaldo. So if you could make any comparison, that's definitely one. So anyway, Noel, I'll move on to you. In the recent press conference, obviously Van Gaal was talking about filling two positions in the side. I think most fans would agree that we definitely need to sign a few more players if we want to compete for the Premier League and especially the Champions League. So if you were Louis van Gaal right now, what two positions would you be looking to fill, and with what players?
Definitely center back, because last year the injuries really took a hit on the team, and you're stuck with Johnny Evans, Tyler Blackett, dropping Michael Carrick back. I know not his best fit, but he performed fairly well there. We've been shouting for Otamendi for a long time now. Him, that chemistry with Rojo in Argentina could work well with United. And I think maybe a backup striker. Don't know who they're really looking for, but reports said that they're trying to go for Pedro, but he's on the bench at Barcelona, winning trophies. Maybe he wants the new test in the Premier League. Back up Rooney.
Yeah, no, I think definitely the biggest worry is that we probably need a striker of the quality of a Benzema or Lewandowski, but because Rooney is captain and we play 4-3-3, they're going to be on the bench. And I don't think any striker of that quality is going to be happy being on the bench the whole time. So who do you think could be the best striker we could realistically sign who would be happy to be on the bench? Personally, I would think Lacazette. You don't have any name in mind?
Lacazette would be good. Nice. He's strong off the ball, pretty good dribbler, and he's very quick. So he'd be a good shout. And definitely, he's only like I think 23, 24, so young-ish. So, and we have Champions League football, so that'd be a good shout.
And Daniel, what striker would you be hoping to sign this summer?
Realistically, personally want Benzema, as you said, but I don't think that'll happen after all the De Gea stuff. Like I said, it would be good, but can he do it in the Premier League? I think that's the big question.
Yeah. So would you say Benzema would be your dream signing?
Dream sign? I wouldn't say it'd be dream sign. If I was going to say my dream signing, I'll probably get a lot of slip for this, but I'll probably go Aguero. Simple. Has to be. He's the best striker in the league. He's the best striker in the league. What can you say? End of.
Would you think he's the best striker in the world or just Premier League?
Definitely Premier League. Don't think world, no.
Right. So Harry, I'll ask you the same question. Who would your dream signing be?
Overall, Van Gaal said two signings. I'd go with a centre back and a striker. At centre back, I'd have to say Ramos, just because. Well, it's like signing Schweinsteiger. You just don't think Ramos will leave, and then if he came to the club, it's another it's an absolute steal, really. And then striker. Some people have said this isn't realistic at all, but his agent said 35 million. I think realistically, if you add 15 million onto that, then Bayern Munich might accept for Robert Lewandowski. I I don't know if his ambition is to stay there and try and win the Champions League before leaving. That's what someone mentioned on Twitter the other day. But uh, it's I think you can tempt in a way the with Van Gaal, the name of United and the Premier League, because he hasn't had a challenge in England yet. And now we're in the Champions League, it's more attractive.
Alright, and Noel, who would your dream signing be?
Hmm. I'd love to
Uh,
have Ronaldo back. Love to have Ronaldo back.
uh,
Just,
uh,
but
I suppose that's always been a long-term debate when we were getting linked at the start of summer with both Bale and Ronaldo. I think it's kind of head over heart, isn't it? I think your heart always says Ronaldo, but your head's going to say Gareth Bale just because he's younger and arguably every
yeah.
bit as talented. So
hmm
it would definitely be for Ronaldo for you. You go with your heart.
Yeah, Ronaldo for me, but if my head saying Bale or like a Lewandowski, Benzema, like Daniel and Harry was saying.
So I think that's all the questions that we had to get through. Like I was saying, this is the first time I was presenting. This is the first time for the three lads coming on. So well done to Ollie. So yeah, I'm sorry it's a bit rash, but I'll just go through the lads again, and if they can just like say goodbye and ask they can give their Twitter handles if they like. We'll start with you, Daniel.
Thanks for having me. My Twitter's at Daniel Kennedy 95 with a capital D.
Alright, so we'll move on to Harry.
Hopefully I'll become able to come back.
Yeah, thanks. It's been rushed but enjoyable. Find me on Twitter at Harry Robinson 64. Don't ask where the number came from. I don't know myself.
And finally, Noel.
Thanks for having me. My Twitter's at not first Noel.
Okay. Alright, I'll just point out, I'll just go back onto Harry's page. I got to know the three lads from Vavel. You can see it there, VAVEL. Anyone who's interested in doing any sort of sports journalism, all sports, but definitely football, these would be, I suppose, the guys to contact, and it's a great opportunity. And if you do well, you can become an editor, and I definitely just recommend it to anyone who is aspiring to be a sports journalist or journalist in any way. So I want to thank you for everyone for watching. I'll be sharing this on my own account, and I'm sure the lads will do a bit themselves. I'll try and do these shows maybe every week. I'll get the lads on definitely again because everyone did really well. Like again, well done. But probably new guests next week, and then after 3 or 4 weeks, you'll probably start seeing familiar faces. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.